Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's up everybody? Today is the Man Child. Alright, so today for review, going to take a look at the Masters Universe Origins Extendar figure. So yeah, pretty much Extendar is going to be a Mattel Creations Exclusive. Cyclone is actually on sale now as I'm recording this video, so I went on and got one. I had a little bit of trouble on Mattel Creations site, like once the timer went down, I couldn't find it. I went into Motu Collection, and it took me to some video. It had nothing to do with Motu, I think like the Street Sharks, yada yada. Sooner or later I figured it out and I got one, so hopefully it's up for sale. Everybody got one. Cyclone's another vintage inspired figure a lot of us want. I think Extendar is as well. And it's awesome to finally see another completely new tooled vintage inspired figure in a line. And here's Extendar once again, like Cyclone. So yeah, there's a few of these floating around online. I got one. And these, as I said, will be a Mattel Creations exclusive figure. And I don't know why these weren't up for sale before Cyclone, you know, or why they're even floating around. You know, sometimes certain collectors get early ones in hands. But the good news is it tells me that these are ready to go, all tooled up, packaged, and all that good stuff. And when Mattel Creations finally announces Extendar, which I'm assuming is going to be right after Cyclone very soon, it'll be available again. Anyway, what's neat with Extendar here is that not only is he a completely new tool figure, and it's just another figure to help finish up that vintage-inspired line with the Origins like we all want, but you also get a collector-friendly card, as I call it. So check that out. You know, you can take the, you know, you can remove them, slide this slip cover if you're not familiar out, take the figure out, review it, mess around with it, put them back, and mint on card. And now, spinning the card around once again, here's another quick look at the art in the back. So, of course, we see Extendar all extended upwards, as tall as he can go. We can see, let's see, we have Hordak here, Grizzlor, Leech. Now, we know all three of these figures are out for the Origins so far. Looks like we have the Fright Zone in the background. You can see the tree behind Extendar in the dungeon. What's cool, too, is check this out. We have Dragstore over here in the right-hand corner. I did hear rumors that Dragstores should be announced. They're coming out sometime the end of this year for Origins. At least that's the rumors I heard. But, yeah, he's a pretty important character. Along with Modulok, which I also heard rumors he was announced somewhat. But he's going to be exclusive. I'm not probably hear that at San Diego Comic-Con, hopefully. Got some other Cosmos going in the back. But once again, just incredible art for the Origins. And now here's a quick unpackaging look at Extendar. I don't usually do unpackagings, but once again, this is what that card looks like, right? If you're not familiar with these, here's how the figure comes. You can see his accessories. Here's the other part of the bubble, and this is the mailer that you get for this figure. And in a comic book, comes in a plastic sheet as well. And now, before we take a look at Extendar and those accessories, Extendar comes with a new comic. It's called Terror of the Technomancer. Okay, pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to open it up. Now, I didn't read it yet. Be a surprise for me later, but what I'm going to do is just I'll bring it close for people who want to try to read the bubble captions, right, and the images. See what's going on. Yeah, awesome art. As always, check this out. Go over here. Oh, we have some Horde Troopers going on over here. Okay, they got Extendar all tied up. Wow, there's all the Horde. Okay, bring this up. There's Dragster over here in the right-hand corner. Go to the next page. Down here, I'll check that out. As Modulok. Wow, he looks cool. I can't wait to see him in Origins. I know he's coming. I'm pretty sure this year sometime. I like that. They got Extendar all tied up there. Gonna mutate him. There's Modulok again, man. Looks so awesome. To the next page. Again, I'm not reading everything. I'm just kind of browsing through, just like the audience is. I'll check it out later. It's awesome. Yeah, I love that they, what is that there? Long Endless Night, Hordak, and Modulok. Wow. Cool. And now, here's a quick look around with Extendar and all his accessories out of package. And now, bringing in Extendar for a closer look with his, well, we'll say head or shield and, yeah, face plate shield kind of thing. Yeah, I love the colors or the overall finish. Just got that silver, goldish, yeah, pearl-like finish. I mean, I don't think it's a vac metal. I think it's just some kind of paint or coating. But awesome. Sort of goes back to the vintage toy from I remember now. You look on the front of my shield. Mine already has some kind of, I don't know if that's a, I don't want to say it's battle damage. I think I think it's some type of crack or QC issue already in mine, because you can see it over this side and it goes down here, but when I go to move this, nothing's separating, and when I spin them around, it's on the other side. So it's almost like a manufacturer crack, I'm guessing. I don't know yet. It might be. I don't think it's intended like that. That doesn't make sense for battle damage. Okay, so that's that. I mean, again, this is an early figure in hand, and sometimes a lot of QC issues, that's when you see them. So Mattel Creations has this for sale for 20-something bucks. I'll pick up another one. Anyway, aside that, it's, yeah, cool looking face shield. It's all part of the buck and sculpt. Right, you had that gold, it looks like a doorknob piece or something, reminds me of. In the front, or maybe that's what he talks through. Or no, actually, he could talk through the vent. So, as far as the head, now, it does have an action feature, like the vintage. See that? That's awesome. So, it does extend up. You can see the, yeah, there's a weird symbols. There's like peace symbols and stuff in there. Huh. It's part of the circuitry. So, that's the extendable part of the head, the neck, rather, head. So there's a closer look at the head. It's got that, yeah, cybernetic looking face, as Extendar always did. Helmet. That's all part of the sculpt. Obviously, the helmet is cast or painted with this color. And then the face is painted with the goldish color on the inside. Has some black inside his robotic eyes going, you know. I mean, you can see, let me see something here. So as far as the, okay, yeah, okay. So we already went up with the extension. We know it can go up and down. Excuse me. I'm still trying to figure this out. I just took them in a package. So the head on that extension piece is on a peg and go all around, you know, just spin all around, can look left to right, go down about that far against the shield and back with the head extended, of course, which is awesome. And then inside it, it can only go spin left to right, you know, can't obviously go back and forth. Now, pulling the head back out once again. So I'm going to pop it off the ball peg for a second. Now there's a closer look with that headpiece off the peg, right? You can see how the overall peg is inside there and the details. And then taking a look at the body again with the head off the ball peg. So yeah, you can just see how the typical Origins ball peg, of course. Can rotate all around. We can take a better look at this piece inside there, the neck extension. Now that doesn't come out. It's some type of internal action figure piece, and that's what it looks like all the way down inside the body and then back up. So putting the head back on, I just pushed it back inside the face shield. We'll move on to the buck and body. So yeah, we know this is all part of the buck and body, this gold door knocker thing. It reminds me of anyway. Yeah, I love the color, but even in these, you can see some weird, I don't know, it's like 2 layers or just how they mix the paint or the overspray. It's strange in the body. I don't know if it's meant to be. See how clean it is in the back, but it's a certain areas. You've seen that over polish or cracking with multiple layers of paint or something. Not really sure, but that's what my figure has. It's not the worst thing. I think the crack is more noticeable than that. Yeah, but a whole new buck, you know, all new tooling. So it's moving down to the waist. You can spin at the waist, right? We already took a look at the back. Okay. Let's move on to the arms for a second. So going on to the arms, he has the goldish, same thing. It almost looks like some type of vac metal or just coating, which is cool. Looks, is that independent from, no, it's all part of the same thing. It's just painted, it looks like, over the silver. Maybe that's what they did. Maybe the whole overall body was gold or something and the silver went over. And that's what you're seeing with these, kind of like QC issues. You know, where you're trying to mix 2 different, like a silver and gold type of paint. It sort of reminds me of. So as far as the articulation with the arms, we'll just take a look at the right arm for a second. So he can go all the way up, down, right, forward, back, all the way out like this. So the arm does, let's see. Okay, so it's a regular Origin style peg, right? If you want to customize the arms. Put that back in for a second. So moving down so we can see the silver cut. As I said, the gold goes over it. Checking out the elbow. So yeah, the elbow, you can spin at the elbow, can bend. Not too far. Look at that. It's like, just kind of gets hindered. How about this side? It's about as far as I can bend in there. All right, there it goes. Like that. All right, so you can go all the way in. You can only go out about that far, and you still got that curve. Just got to play around with this side. There we go. Okay, just tighten the joints. Yeah, moving down to the elbow piece, you can just see some more gold, some kind of braces in there or something like that, other details, lacing or something. Now, what's interesting is these extendable pieces on the arms. Now, these come in a package like that, and they kind of have a curve going to them both sides. I don't remember if the vintage one had that. I thought it was more straight. They might have been rubbery. Now, this is, yeah, these are hard rubber material. You can, by bending it, straighten it out, but it ain't going to stay like that. So even up to the elbow, you can spin at the elbow on these, and then moving down to the hands. So he has these gloved hands on both sides, gold gloved hands. Um, Same type of. Now these look like fully casted pieces in this color, to where this gold is actually painted over to silver, I think. That's what it looks like to me. So you can spin at these, higher glove ends, we'll call it, at the hand, and then when you move down to the hand, he has two weapon gripping hands that are also cast in this goldish color, and they can go in and out, and they spin on a hinge joint. Now, as far as the extensions, it looks like, I wonder if you could pull it out of the elbow. Yeah, check that out. So you have a peg at the elbow, and then jumping over to that cybernetic extension piece that I just removed from the elbow, so that comes off as well, right? So you notice side, I don't know if I mean, obviously there's a male side goes in this and into the glove, and this side go back on the arm. So there's a little closer look at that piece, and the left and right are both the same. You just see all circuitry details, and going back to this glove, right? Just look inside that glove, and then the hand comes off as well. So let me just remove that to make sure. And there's a close look with that hand pulled out of the back part of that glove. It's just a standard Origins peg that can go in and out. And then going back to the left side of the arm, as I already mentioned, everything's all the same. We know this articulates. Again, this has the same curved piece. It looks like, wouldn't matter whether you put this on the left or right side. Side of circuitry might be a little different. Could spin, go in and out, the whole deal. And I'm going to remove this one as well, and then we'll just put both hands on just to give him his overall short effect without these extensions. And now here's a look at Extendar with those two extension pieces off the arms and all retracted before we build them up and see how tall you can go. So if you want to display your figure like this, you can, obviously. Now, as you notice in the package, he comes with the two arm extensions, and everything else is closed, and there's two more extensions for his legs, which we'll get into. And just look with the head down, and if you want to just extend the head up and leave these two arms short and the rest of the body, short without extensions, that's what he would look like. So while I have Extendar all closed up and retracted down to his smallest size, I want to do a quick comparison before I start putting parts on, building back up. So here's a quick comparison with, this is just a Skeletor from the Screech 2-pack against Extendar. So you can just see the differences as far as the height. And then if you pull the head Extendar and we just leave, everything else retracted, that's what they look like together as far as height. And now I also want to bring in a new cartoon He-Man that gets Extendar all stubby and shortened down, except for I'm going to keep the head up at the moment, because the cartoon figure's a little bit taller when you straighten out the legs than regular Origins, and a lot of people like this line, so that's those two together. Alright, so jumping back to Extendar once again, so of course I put his extensions in his hands, back out, left the head out as far as the extendable neck. Moving down to the belt and loincloth or pad kind of thing, just his own unique design. It looks wider than the regular Origins waists. I'll try a different waist on here in a little while. So, of course, you can spin at the waist like all the Origins, and then the most important part is, let's check out the action feature. Alright, there we go. So there's an extendable action feature, cybernetic extension for his waist. Yeah, really cool. I love that. That was a cool figure. I remember having this as a kid back in the day. So, so not only does this go up, but you can also rock back and forth a little bit with his extension piece, but I don't think it comes out of there. But he does, so the extension piece does rotate down on top of the waist, and is that on a peg? So, okay, look at that. So it actually comes apart. Alright, so putting the waist back together at the moment so we can go down to the legs and build them up, finish up all the articulation, get them fully extended. So we already looked at the belt, the cloth, we know how this works. So moving down, he has his own unique legs. It's, again, an only 100% tool figure from what I can see. Yeah, I'm surprised these thigh pieces are as short and stubby as they are. I would think they're a little taller. Even the regular Origins are taller. I don't remember how stubby the vintage figure was, but it does what it has to do. So the legs can go all the way out with a split as far as articulation. Can only kick forward about that far because of these sculpted plates. Yeah, can only go back about that far. Can bend at the knee. Let's see. Spin at the knee a little bit. Now he has his own unique armor boots, like a knight would have. So yeah, we know they can spin. And then the foot can go, okay, up about that far and down, and rock a little bit side to side, kind of hindered by this, all this armor going back to the shin guards, these particular type of boots. Even my boots too, they have two different, you can see that lines. I don't know if they're like some type of mold casting lines. They're not cracks, they both have them. Kind of weird in this figure, but anyway. So the front and the back. Now, So as far as the boots, obviously they didn't come off. I'm going to put these extension pieces in. So let me remove them and we'll take a look at that. And now here's a quick look with the boots removed off Extendar's feet. So you can just take a better look at the peg system. It's regular Origins peg. So if you wanted to put Skeletor feet or He-Man feet or whatever you want, you could. And here's a closer look at those boots off the legs. And now here's a closer look at those extension pieces they give you to extend the legs from the boots. Or once again, here's our boots, right? And yeah, you just get these stubby little pieces. So obviously there's no action feature inside the feet or boots. So it's, yeah, that would have been cool if they did that. But I just, yeah, it gives you different options. Put different boots on, I guess. And these going inside of the boots just wouldn't work instead of putting pegs. So you kind of see why they did it. But you can see the overall circuitry and design. And, whoop, dropped that one. The other one's all the same. And now, putting these extension pieces on Extendar's upper legs. Now, you can put them in the boots first or legs first. Don't matter. I think it's, I don't know, I'm just going to build them down this way from the pegs. So I'm going to put this side on, or put this one on the right side. Now, it doesn't really matter. I mean, images show different things, how the circuitry should go. I don't know. I'm going to put it like that. Now I'm going to put the other one on the left side. And now with the extension pieces on, I'll put the left boot on. And then let's put the right boot on the right side. And there we go. Now we have Extendar all extended or built up. Check that out. Man, that's awesome. So, yeah, let's take a look at the legs. So we already went over the arms. We know how to waist, the head, all good stuff. But as far as the legs now, go all the way out with a split like this. They look much better with them extension pieces on. Kick forward. All right, go back. Oh, okay, bend at the knee, spin at the foot, all good stuff. Yeah, it looks awesome. And now, once again, there's a couple more comparisons against Extendar, but this time, of course, we have them all built up or extended up. So we brought in our Screech 2-pack Skeletor against Extendar. See those two together. And now, bringing in Cartoon He-Man once again. Here's a side-by-side comparison with those two together. And now we wanted to bring in the new Turtles of Grayskull Krang. That's all built up in the Megator body, so you can see those two together as far as height comparisons. And, yeah, they look almost the same height, side the little hairpiece on Krang. And then for one more quick comparison, I also wanted to bring in a Masterverse figure. I brought in a new Eternia Triclops against our Origins Extendar, all built up. So it's those two together. And now finally moving on, Extendar's accessory or accessories. It just comes with that folding shield, similar to something like the Classics one had. So you can see in the package it's folding. Actually, it has little snaps. You can lock it and close it in place. Right, so if you see that, you can snap it open. There's the two tabs on that side, and you flip it over. Looks like this piece snaps out of there. And then, wow, these are really hard. Okay, so, yeah, you got to be careful to take these all apart. Okay, there goes that one. Does that one come apart? Must. There we go. And with the shield fully open, that's pretty much what you get. Now, it's not something, I mean, once you open it and put it on display, I don't see people constantly, you know, close it and open it, or you're going to leave it in a closed position, put it away, or put it on his hand like that. But, yeah, these little plastic tabs in here, you know, it's one of those things you're not going to repeatedly go back and forth, because I can see these splitting. Okay, so I'm going to equip Extendar with the shield now. It looks like the right way to have him hold this is to close this again. And I'm going to put it on the left side, and his hand will go... All right, you see this will snap onto the back of that glove, and his hand will grab it here. I'm just kind of going off the card art. You can see that. See, it's going to look something like this. I don't remember the vintage one. I don't know if he had this. I don't remember or how it went. But that's how it's showing him holding it in the image. So going back to the left side, so yeah, it just seems like you're going to push this part of the handle in the hand, and then you got to slide this over the back of the glove. So there's a look with that shield on the left hand. I showed you the only way I can see, you can clip into the hand. This will go over the back of that glove. But again, he's holding it right side up to where this image, going back to the card art, shows this triangle piece down and these two pieces out. It's almost like it's upside down. Even if you, yeah, even if you flip this around and you can't grab it, it's kind of it's odd. And now here's a look with that shield snapped onto the right side. Now that looks right. It's almost like the art is just, yeah, it's backwards or something, but yeah, it works that way on the right and the opposite way on the left side. And then going back to the shield on the left side for a second. So I guess you could do that. You don't have to use this piece. You know, you could just hold it that way or something. And even if you, I don't know if you can, yeah, then this piece is in the way over the arm. But yeah, I guess you can use it like that if you wanted to. Either way. Okay, so we went over Extendar's overall designs and action features. We did a few comparisons. You could do a whole video with, yeah, a lot of comparisons. So the next thing would be part swapping and, you know, switching and stuff like that. Now, to me, Extendar is his own creation figure. I personally wouldn't swap parts with it. You know, it's just, as I say with certain figures like this, his own thing. But, yeah, let's try a few different things. And again, you can make a whole video with heads and all kinds of wacky stuff people like to do. Now, the first thing I thought would be interesting to try is the Silver Horde Trooper, right, from the Origins. What's interesting is the paint on the Silver Horde Troopers, similar to Extendar's. Extendar's a little bit more shiny, but no, they're very similar. It's just, you know, it might be my lights. The point of that is, if you look at my Horde Trooper, the paint on the silver one, I have the black and the red one, which were San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. Now look at that, if you can see that, my light, get some light over here. He has a crack also going right through the front, and same thing up the back. And it's not the plastic, so even though you can separate this, like if you move this and twist it back and forth, and it even goes down in here, and I don't think it's the plastic. I think it's something with this type of overspray and paint. They sprayed over a primer or existing paint, and it's just getting stress cracks, and that's just the way this type of paint hardens. Going back to Extendo, I don't think it's a crack in the plastic. I don't know, it's hard to tell, but I just noticed that on my Silver Horde Trooper. No other figures has anything like that. Anyway, because it's two different colors now, we can, yeah, you can try all kinds of parts on them. I thought it'd be interesting to use a Horde Trooper, but before I get into that, let's mess around with a couple heads, like maybe He-Man Skeletor heads, and see what it looks like on this extension piece. So here's a quick look with the Skeletor head on, the Skeletor I brought in from the Screech 2-pack. So yeah, you could put He-Man Skeletor heads on this, his overall extension piece. But the thing is, it's kind of difficult, depending on the head. So it's almost like you got to push this piece down and try to snap the head on that peg. But depending on the head, see that? It doesn't catch. Or you'd have to hold this up somehow, you know, to kind of get the head over that, down on that ball peg, and get it to work. I mean, I'm just kind of showing you a quick rig with it. But for the most part, if you push it all the way down, it can work. Now, Skeletor is another one. At least this figure where his skull face protrudes is hitting that shield, and it's not letting me go forward all the way. It's just making it. So again, it depends what heads you want to put on this figure in his face shield to work on an extension piece. So now here's a look with that cartoon He-Man head sitting down as far as I can get on the body inside the face shield. But also, it won't, yeah, it's like something's different with the socket and that head. So you see that? I'm putting it all the way down over that peg piece, and I can't get it to snap on. Can you pull this out? It's hard trying to hold this and set this head. See that? Like it wants to go on, but you'd have to, yeah, pinch this off with something to put certain heads on this peg, just like Skeletor. So now I want to try a head like Mechaneck, because, yeah, Mechanek's kind of a cybernetic head, or at least neck in his body. I think that kind of fits Extendar, even though he has a silver visor and a red. So yeah, it matches with the shield. So that's Mechaneck's, you know, head inside the face shield down. Well, it's the same issue, you know. It's like the other couple heads. I got to pull this out to mess around with it. You can get it to work, but holding this is really difficult to set the heads. And then with a little work and messing around, I got that head down on the extension piece. So that's what it looked like with Mechaneck's head out of the shield, face shield piece. And again, you can make a whole video with all kinds of heads. They're all going to vary how they work, what fits, what don't fit. The biggest waste of time is messing around with that piece. I actually put a rag behind it and held it with a small pair of needle nose pliers. I didn't want to damage that, so I can pop Mechaneck's head on. And it would probably help, maybe use some heat with a blow dryer on each head, soften the, you know, the socket up, push the head down. But I just want to use a few examples of what different heads would look like on Extendar's body with that neck piece. Alright, so I'm still messing around with heads. Another head I really wanted to try on this Extendar body was that Shredder head from the Turtles of Grayskull line. Now, if you're not familiar, right, here's Shredder, the body. It's what the head came off with. That head is awesome. It fits on any figure for like a helmeted head. I don't care if you put it on, make a He-Man variant or Skeletor or whatever. But that fits really cool in Extendar. Went on, you can see, fit alright. So that's what it looks like in the up position, and pushing it down. That's what it looks like in the back. And, you know, you're kind of limited because of the size of the helmet, but yeah, the colors, it's a little different from Extendar's body, but yeah, that's cool. And then, of course, the last thing I want to try with heads is just confirm that, you know, most, well, I want to say most, but a lot of Masterverse heads will fit the ball pegs of this Extendar because they're the same plugs that the Origins pegs have for the most part. Now, this is a Skeletech head. I thought it's cool. And that's where Skeletor sort of becomes cybernetic. Now, that too, it can fit in that peg. But once again, because it's trying to lock this in place and hold it and put this head on without heating it up, yeah, you just sit there and waste time and fight it. It is possible. Say I put it all the way down, I'm not, that's how it would sit once, well actually that, it won't even, because of his hood, kind of look like that, but it won't catch, but this particular Skeletor. So in the end, I noticed the way they set up Extendar's head with that plug like that, it comes on and off easy, even when that piece is down, you know. So we have that here, it clicks easy like that, and then it holds to pull the piece out, and then you just got to rock it, and it pops right off. And now going back to my silver Horde Trooper, because once again, I think the colors match each other pretty close, and they're both cybernetic, robot kind of figures. So obviously I put the Extendar head on the Trooper as is, and that looks really cool. I like the way the helmet matches. It's just something different on this Trooper, right? Articulates well, all good stuff. Now, going back to Extendar once again, one more head change, going back to Origins. I forgot about doing this, but this head too looked cool in this body, that silver Horde head. But same issue, it's just that, you know, you go to put it on, and you're fighting that peg. I mean, there it is down inside the visor. Okay, fun. But it doesn't even catch that peg. You know, and I hate being repetitious with this. I wish there was a way to lock this, like a button or something. Would have been a lot better. So you see I'm trying to hold this. I put pliers on earlier, like I said, vice grips. I don't want to do that again, or needle nose. So you have to heat this up, snap that head in place. I'm not fighting it now, but for the most part, it has to go down a little bit. That Horde head would look like that on that Extendar body once you get it down. So of course I put his head back on that. Yeah, it's really this head set up for this body. You can put all kinds of heads I mentioned. It's just, it's time consuming, and you got to custom play around with that. So I'm moving on from that. But so I put the Horde arm obviously on one side just to give you an idea what it would look like if you didn't want to use these big wacky arms. Yeah, it's just definitely designed to go with the aesthetics of this Extendar body, but you can do that if you wanted to, and you have a big gap. I'm sure it's going to vary arm to arm, but just want to show you that. And then going back to the Horde Trooper once again with Extendar's arm on that robot body, looks pretty cool, but yeah, that battle damage piece that splits apart, it's so wide here, it's not going to work with this particular collar. What it would look like, you know, if curious what it would look like on another figure. Again, I'm just using this because of the colors of the Horde Trooper. It's kind of how it looked, but it's not going to work on a Horde Trooper because of this armor piece on the shoulder. And now I thought it'd be fun to bring in a mini comic Trapjaw because of his colors, and he has that silver guard for his mechanical arm that's on the right side and the utility belt. So that looks pretty cool in Trapjaw, even though with the gold highlights. Just give you an example on a regular, you know, a figure with regular aesthetics somewhat, minus this plate. It's very close to this cut. What that arm would look like. And yeah, it works cool and articulates well, at least on Trapjaw. And now bringing Extendar once again, just left the same setup, but I put Trapjaw's silver arm from that mini comic Trapjaw, yeah, because of that colored arm on that body. And yeah, it fits even with this, you know, the particular design in his buck. And looks pretty cool. Silver's a little off, but that's fun to do. And going back to heads for the last time, Trapjaw's another one. The head will not work on a ball peg. I mean, not only for the reasons I mentioned like the other heads, but if you're not familiar, this mini comic Trapjaw on the first release has these tabs. They have different neck pieces. So you have a neck extension piece, which you think would work similar to how Extendar is set up, but it's round. And it has these two tabs, and that's what stops the head. This doesn't usually fit on a regular Origins figure without modification. So same thing with this. It just sits there. It won't allow this, you know, to go all the way down on top of that piece. But that would have been cool to put a Trapjaw head on here too with that arm if you wanted to. I guess with modification you could do anything, but for the most part it's not going to work. The next thing, all right, so we tried the arms, went over the head a bunch of times, right? This extended body and then a snap the waist off. And now using Extendar's upper body and this piece that goes in and out, again, I'll use the Horde Trooper lower half because it's just the colors that make sense to me. And how does it look with that setup? Yeah, it's so skinny in the legs. I don't think, yeah, again, Extendar just has his own setup to make him work. And if you wanted to extend them with the Horde Trooper legs, it would look something like that. And now here's a quick look at Extendar's lower waist and legs on the Horde Trooper with the legs extended, just for something fun again, because the colors are close. And I'll just leave the extensions out. So if you wanted to use these on a Horde Trooper, that, yeah, it could work and look pretty cool as where you're putting the Horde Trooper's piece on Extendar. It just doesn't look right to me. And here's a quick size comparison with Extendar's overall, the belt, loincloth, they're the waist setup compared to a typical Origins, the legs and, you know, belt, like Skeletor here. So just going back to how, I'm okay, different color legs, but how goofy trying to set a different figure that matches or whatever you want to do on this, Extendar's waist. And now moving down to the feet. So yeah, I just put the Horde Trooper and the part of the guards or the ankle boots. Obviously on Extendar, once again, because the colors match, you can put He-Man, Skeletor boots. I don't think it's worth it, I mean, it's just to save time, but you can. And so I just, of course, I just left one extension on the right side, just to give you an example of what it would look like, to have one of these particular Horde boots or whatever you want to put on the extended side. And then what it would look like, on a non-extended side. So, big shoe, little shoe guy. But, yeah, again, it's, the Horde Trooper is probably the most compatible figure as far as colors and parts to mix with Extendar. I mean, minus heads and things I already showed for the most part. And then you got Extendar's feet. You can put this on a Horde Trooper, another figure. I just don't think it looks good. They're too big. All his parts are, pretty much just set up for him the way I see it. And since we went this far, once again, here's my Horde Trooper, and I just put Extendar's extendable cybernetic extension pieces on his legs, and I use Extendar, put Extendar's boots on those. So you want to set the Horde Trooper up like that, you can. And now, of course, I just put the Horde Trooper's lower the steel ankle guards and boots with the extensions on that figure. So if you want to make him taller, you can use those pieces for that. Okay, so that's my overall review on the new Mattel Universe Origins Extendar figure. I gotta say, the overall design and sculpt came out really cool. I like the way they, went about the head that goes up and down, has a ball peg, you move the head. Now, of course, you gotta, to put other heads on this figure, if that's what you want to do, you gotta have patience and, you gotta figure out a way to put that neck extension up or hold it in place to lock heads down. And they're not all gonna work and fit depending on the heads because of this guard or how they hit that ball peg. It varies. Again, you can make a whole video on that. I just tried a few, but it's really set up, particularly for Extendar's head. I like these arm extensions that they're removable. They don't retract any arms because, yeah, you can take them off and put different gloved hands and stuff on, which I didn't get into. I mean, I like these. Again, it's how we should come. I don't know why they put the curves in these. It doesn't bother me. I just surprised they didn't make them straight. I guess maybe to hold a weapon better or something like that, or make him look more natural when he's holding, you want to put another weapon in hand or something like that. Would have been cool if he come with that lance like the classics did, but he didn't. They just gave him this foldable shield, which I do like. I like the design of that. It is weird in the art that it can go one way but not the other, but not a problem at all. The waist is cool, but again, he's very limited as far as interchangeability with other Origins like I showed, because he's his own thing. But you can do certain things with the extensions on the legs. You want to put He-Man boots or, whatever you want. That's up to you. I'm not going to do that. I think it looks good with Extendar boots or the Horde Trooper ones, as I showed. My biggest issue was this paint. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the way they went about the paint as far as that glossy pearl-looking color, both the gold and the silver. But there's a lot of QC issues cracking. I mean, this to me, I don't know if that's plastic. It just looks like something deep in the paint. You can see it on layers of the helmet, the splits. You can see it down my body. Even in the legs. And the legs aren't too bad. It's just certain areas. The back looks fine, but you can see it back here. The elbows a little bit. I don't want to say that's intended. That doesn't make sense for me. Sometimes I try to be positive and say, oh, it's battle damage or just some type of multicolored design to, I don't know, give them that effect. But I don't think that's what it is. Might just be my figure, but yes, even here, look, there's a crack going down here. Wow. Yeah, I hope this isn't going to be a problem with the Extendars once they become available on Mattel Creations, which I think should be soon. Guessing next month or before we know it. Aside that, maybe it's just my figure and they'll rectify that problem, or it could be an issue. So, yeah, let's think positive. But, it's another figure to scratch off the list with the vintage-inspired figures for the Origins, and I'm happy with it, aside those issues. And when Mattel Creations puts a sale up, and for 20 plus bucks, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm going to grab another one. Hopefully I won't get this. I don't know. But anyway, that's my review. So I appreciate everybody watching. Until next time, take care.